as I told you, we have like 7 STEM clubs in Princeton, we have the leaders from Bridgewater Reagan High School, Post High School started a STEM club. Shawarkar and Sunny they will say something about what they're doing, what their vision is, how they will go to the next level.
So I think the presentation that we just had from Principal Allen was a really great presentation. And we're here to address a lot of the similar issues that he's talking about, because the students in our high school, they know how to do multiplication, they know basic arithmetic, but what we want them to do is be able to apply it. And a story that goes a lot along with what Principal Allen was saying is, when my dad went to India, he was really amazed by their school system because of how much they taught. Their 4th grade students had these thick science textbooks that had all this information in them. And so he wanted to see how much they knew. So he asked one of his relatives a question. So this is a 4th grader. At what temperature does water melt? And the student didn't have an answer. So my dad decided to rephrase the question, and he asked, what's the melting point of water? And the student immediately, within seconds, knows the answer. And I think that's really interesting, because it shows they don't know the concepts. They just know the definitions, or what the numbers are, or the memorization. And that's why, in the same way, at least in the United States school system, we have a lot more of the application aspect, and we have a lot more of the conceptual understanding. But as he said, with the science teacher that had to rephrase his question, the entire class understood what he was talking about, we need to be able to do the same thing here, and that's why we're working with our school to create an iSTEM, or IEEE student club, that gives students the opportunity to apply their STEM education. So education is not the end in itself. The goal of education is to be able to apply it in the real world, and you need to have the skills to apply it. And that's why we wanted to start out by being able to apply it at a high school level. So we do a couple of different things as major components of this. First is guest speakers. Because if you can see people who are doing this in the field, you can see, what can I do to be like them? And that's one of the major goals. We've had 3 guest speakers so far. And then second, we do a lot of competitions. And competitions are kind of like a stepping stone in order to get to the place where you want to be. Because for competitions, you study, you learn, you do all this preparation, and you understand more about what's going on, and in that effect, you can eventually apply it. Then another thing we wanted to work on is student research. So here's where you get to the end goal idea. You come up with a project. You have to think about the project, integrate the ideas, analyze everything, and then finally be able to synthesize it and write a paper on it. So that's where you bring in the entire literacy aspect of STEM. You can't just do the project, because then there's no meaning to it. You have to be able to convey your ideas. So that's why we're trying to work on student research projects and student research presentations. Because a lot of students do research at major universities, but they have no way of conveying what they've done to other people, to other students. And for example, I did research at Columbia, and I was able to present it as part of our club. And then finally, we're working on engineering projects, because that gives everybody a mechanism to learn a little bit more about how to actually apply it. So this year, our focus was on member outreach, and we wanted to get more people involved in the STEM movement, and that's how we were able to expand our club to over 130 members this year.
So basically, some of the things that we've done in the past few years is, this is actually the 2nd year that our club's operating. Last year, we had a bunch of guest speakers, including some engineers from local companies such as Bell Labs and Linday Processing Plants. As well, we also worked on an engineering project, because I've been doing robotics and engineering for the past 12 years, and I know the best way to learn is just to get hands-on and jump right into it and do stuff with your hands. So that's why last year, as our first ever engineering project, we created an autonomous robot called Ollie. It's basically a weather balloon that we attach motors and propellers to attach an Arduino to it, make it autonomous, so it can act as a traffic controller and basically go over roads and look down and see how many cars are on the road and detect the traffic conditions for students at RHS, which is great, because if you ever left our school at closing time, you know all the teachers and seniors are trying to leave at once. So this is actually really nice to see which routes are the cleanest and whatnot.
So then, one of the other things that we did, both in previous years and this year, is engineering projects and community service, because it's really important to extend STEM literacy to places where they don't have the opportunity. And I brought up India earlier, and that's why we're working on a digital literacy project in India, in Kashi, West Bengal. And what we did there is, the first round of funding was I believe 2 years ago, and we applied for $1,500. We set up a computer lab, and we set up teaching sessions for about 50 students in India. And we worked with them and we helped build our digital literacy. And the project was a tremendous success. So our students have gone there for 2 summers now, and we're applying for a 3rd round of funding in order to continue this project in the future. That way we can expand the STEM education outreach in other locations, not just in America, where we're very privileged to have the system that we do.
So basically, some of the topics that we're trying to focus on this year, text a lot about member outreach. So what we've been doing to do this is, like you mentioned, guest speakers. We've been privileged to have some amazing guest speakers already, including Dr. Alicia Abella, who's the executive director at AT&T. She came and talked to us a lot about the Internet of Things and machine learning, which we had over 60 members show up to this meeting. And it was a huge success. Students have gotten interested in it, and some of them have even kept correspondence with Dr. Abella even past that guest speaker conference. We had Dr. Howard Lee, who's a professor of material sciences at Rutgers University. He came to talk to us about soft materials and soft robotics, hydrogels, new kind of materials that are being used in robotics that are not very traditional, but could open new pathways for the future of research. We had Dr. Gauri Bansal and my partner Sahed Scar, who came and did a presentation on a research project that they were working on regarding dopamine in pregnant mothers and using macaque monkeys and studying the MRIs of those monkeys to extrapolate the data towards human mothers. Beyond that, some of the competitions that we participated in this year is PUMAC, which is Princeton University Mathematics Competition, which we had a team of 12 students come to the school, come to Princeton University right here and engage in a math tournament. We've had Science Bowl, which we're currently preparing for. It's a nationwide science competition in which schools can send up to 2 teams of 5 students each, and we engage in buzzer round questions. And this is a nice, fun way, it's a nice game that students can do to really get much more fun than just reading from a textbook and answering a written text, where you're hitting buzzers. It's like you get this whole game show, feel like you're on Jeopardy or something. Then finally, another one that we're working on right now is a Panasonic Creative Design Challenge run by Panasonic. Here is, we get an opportunity to create a robot. And we've actually been in close ties with our school robotics team, and we've been sharing supplies, and they've been giving us inventors where we get to go and build this robot. And it's very cool because we have to come up with all the materials by ourselves. So no NXTs or Arduinos or anything. We have to make our own control systems and everything. So it gives, like I said, students a hands-on chance to just get in and start working. And on the same topic, we had a 3D printer. So last year's engineering project was Ollie. This year we kind of stepped it up a notch, and the huge new thing, if you read Nature magazine or any of those kind of popular science, the next big thing right now is 3D printers. So our students are currently working together. We have a team of 20 students who are currently collaborating to build a 3D printer for our club, and so we can also lease it out to like other clubs in our school, like the robotics club or the biomedical engineering club, to use to test out and play around with. Yeah.
So at this point, we want to see, okay, how do we take it to the next level, and what can we do to integrate this movement with other schools? Because the STEM movement isn't just at Bridgewater Raritan High School; it's everywhere across New Jersey and across the nation. So we want to take it step by step. That's why we're working to create a New Jersey organization for iSTEM, an umbrella organization that integrates STEM clubs across New Jersey. So what this would do is it expands the STEM opportunities. It gives students the opportunity to network. We have a couple of goals and missions with this that I'll get to in the next slide, but we would want to host some statewide events where people can meet up, they can talk with each other, and they can learn more from their peers. And that's really important because you have your school, but when you get out into the real world, you're not just going to be working with people from your school. You'll have to interact with other people that you might not know. And that's what this gives you the opportunity to do. It gets you networking, gives you connections, it helps you meet a lot more people. Currently, we're working on outreach to different schools. We've worked with Hillsborough, Nottingham High School, Montgomery, and South Brunswick High School so far.
So some of our plans and challenges for the entry iSTEM level for this year are, in February of 2015, we hope to hold a hackathon. High school hackathons have increased dramatically in the past year, while in previous years it was limited generally to the collegiate level. However, this year, the high school hackathon movement has skyrocketed. But when I was looking at the statistics, I noticed that New Jersey had a surprising lack of hackers. We have the biggest states were Massachusetts, California, and New York. But where's New Jersey? We're supposed to be one of the leading states in education, yet we don't have students showing up to these events, which are supposed to be hands-on. So that's why we want to have a high school hackathon where students from across New Jersey can come in for 36 hours straight, come up with an idea, make a team there, and just work. And whoever can have a great idea. Sanj and I have been to a couple hackathons. We made some cool things. We made a game where we can like, we kind of took like parts of the Connect kind of thing. We made a punching bag game where you punch a punching bag in real life. The character in the game punches. So I mean, it's some cool stuff you can do within 36 hours. The students just have to show up to realize that, look, we can do this. And so that's why we want to offer them this opportunity. Beyond that, the state conference. We hope to have a state conference, possibly co-located with the IEEE state iSTEM conference here in March. What we hope to have is some guest speakers, possibly some competitions that, like a catapult design competition or a surfboard competition. That was a cool thing that we could do. And basically get students to show up and interact with students from other schools across the state. Because that's really the goal. We don't want to be limited to our little bubbles of our school. We want to have this cross-interaction. And so some of the challenges that we've been facing, we have gotten 5 schools already, but New Jersey has over 500 public and private schools combined. What?
3,000.
3,000, okay. So we have less than 1% so far, much less than 1%. So we have to figure out how do we get this out there. We're hoping that there's going to be a tipping point at one point, but how do we get to this tipping point? We need the outreach and the marketing and the support from teachers across the state to push this into schools and get students interested. Finally, we have some responsiveness and communication issues with teachers and students. And we have been coming up with strategies to fix this. For example, we've created a single domain name called ngistem.org, which every school in this system will have their website under. For example, ours is brhs.ngistem.org. Hillsborough High School would be hhs.ngistem.org. So basically by doing this, we have a singular forum which all the schools can use for communication. All the schools can have each other's email addresses really easy because everyone knows the domain name. And we really want, sure we're all going to meet up at the state conference at the hackathon, but we want students to go on, oh look, this is the cool engineering thing we did at our school last week. Oh, cool, yeah, we're working on this biology project at our school. And we want people, once again, all coming back to literacy. We want these write-ups to be going up, and so what's the point of just sharing something in students that we go to school? Students everywhere will be benefiting from this. So that's some of the things we're working on for this year, and we hope IEEE will continue to play a big role in what we hope on doing this year.
Thank you for listening, and if anybody has any comments, questions, or suggestions.
When did this effort start? When did you start doing this?
Yeah, so the BRH's iSTEM IEEE Student Club started about 3 years ago, and I just joined this year because it wasn't publicized before the last couple of years. But the NJ iSTEM is a program that we started working on in September this year, and we've been working towards expanding that. This is the first year for the NJ program.
And is this also true in other states?
I mean, it might exist in other states. I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it because we wanted to get one state at a time. But this was our own independent idea, not really in another state.
Sure, the back.
Yes. Which grade you two are?
I'm a junior in high school and
I'm a senior in high school.
Great, good job.
Wow.
Your question here? Yeah.
I'm sorry. So it seems like you guys have been doing it for about a year now. What would you? Our school has a new, club, STEM club. What would you suggest? What should the students? What should they be doing? Which direction they should be taking? Because it's a new club.
A couple of things on our very first meeting, when we needed to get students really interested and keep member retention, we had an engineering project where students had to build a tower out of spaghetti and marshmallows. And what we try to do is every couple of weeks we want to have these small engineering challenges. Maybe one week we'll design a catapult, and just these small things that will keep students interested in coming back for more. On top of that, the guest speakers; those are by far our biggest turnout events. And so hopefully if you can ask students at your club to contact guest speakers who can come in and share real world experiences of STEM. So that way students can see what they're doing in the classroom extend beyond just the classroom and how it applies to the real world. Anything else to add to that?
I mean, like the most important thing for a beginning club is member retention. You want to get feedback from your members, see what they like, what they don't like, and focus on the things they like. So STEM is a broad category, right? There's science, technology, engineering, and math. Depending on who your club members are, you might want to focus more on certain types. And I know a lot of people are, they say like, oh, I'm interested in coding, but I don't know how. You can always offer things like lessons for these kind of people who would like to be interested in learning. And another thing is, you don't have to make your events closed to your members. For example, if you invite a guest speaker, put it on your morning announcements and invite everybody to attend. And you get more people interested in the movement, more people who learn about your club. It becomes a little higher visibility.
Possibly students who show up with these guest speakers like, oh, I want more of it. So they actually end up signing up for your club, which is just another very good impact members.
You know, but I could just, I like what you said about letting the members dictate the curriculum, if you will. When we met with GE, they brought their people with them, and they pretty much exposed the curriculum to the students. So after they spoke, I said to the students, well, what do you want to do? And they said, we don't want to do that. And they started to tell them what they did. So when we went to lunch, we invited the people from GE to come in to have lunch with us. They said, no, we have to rewrite our curriculum. And the success really comes, just like you said, retention is focusing in on the students' interests. It's about them, it's not about us. And yeah, so I think you're on the right track. That's most clubs that stay successful are student-centered, not teacher-centered.
So we would like to support your program, support your efforts. So can we discuss after in the meeting?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I'd like to applaud the effort you have done. And the other thing is people who are starting the new clubs, IEEE, we are here. I mean, there are 3 sections within New Jersey. We have Princeton section, Boston section, and North Jersey. And I'm also a member of IEEE USA, and we're trying to get this STEM, obviously all over the USA and all over the world. And I'm very happy that we have taken a proactive approach to at least do it over New Jersey, right? And IEEE is always there to help you guys. And if you want to talk to some interested professionals, we have contacts, that's something we can help definitely, right? And as you know, we have little seed funding we have been giving to the STEM clubs, IEEE Princeton section, and also have projects. Any new STEM club comes up, we have some seed funding. I don't know, we have a check.
Yes, so we have engineers are doing a great job. So IEEE Princeton section would like to give you $1 million.
What?